In today's Leeds news, Joseph could miss start of the season, Leeds interest in Colombian, Joe Rodon update, and no formal approach for players. Morning folks, Jer here, Monday morning 17th of June with your Leeds United news. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're all very happy after the results of the weekend in the Euros. We've got a little bit to get through. There's not a whole lot, so this will be a pretty short video. So we'll start off though around the Mateo Joseph situation and what's likely to happen with him going into the start of the season. Leeds striker Mateo Joseph has been officially granted permission by the International Olympic Committee to represent Spain at this summer's Olympic Games. Joseph had represented England at under 20 level, and that could have caused a problem with switching allegiances. That was done through the FIFA for the international football earlier this year, but the same had to be done for the Olympic Games as well, and Joseph has been sitting and waiting on that decision. The Olympic finals will begin on July 24th, which is 2 days before the Paris Games opening ceremony takes place, and finish on August 9th, which is 1 day before the English Championship season kicks off at the weekend of the 10th and 11th of August, which means Mateo Joseph will likely miss Leeds United's start to the season and potentially an opportunity of getting into the starting lineup for Daniel Farke come the start of the campaign. Mateo Joseph missed the start of last season after picking up an injury during pre-season where he had been heavily featured from the start for Leeds and never really regained any chance of a starting position after that, except the FA Cup game against Chelsea. Missing the start of the season, although he is putting out videos on social media about getting his work done now and being sharp and being fit, and that the competitive games in the Olympics will definitely hold him in good stead. It means Leeds will likely go into the start of the season, at least the first weekend, with a different striker in the number 9 position instead of Mateo Joseph, when he would have wanted to have had that position as early in the season as possible. So we'll have to wait and see if that hinders the start of his campaign or helps the start of his campaign, but we'll wait and see. Moving on to a potential rumour and potential incoming for Leeds United, and according to Brazilian outlet RTI Esporte, they are saying that Leeds are one of 4 English clubs who are interested in Fluminense winger Juan Arias. The report says that a proposal has been forwarded from the West Yorkshire outfit, although there is Premier League interest, which means Leeds' approach is likely to be rejected. West Ham are said to be in advanced talks with the Fluminense winger as well, with Leeds and Leicester said to be sitting and watching the situation to see what happens. The 26-year-old Colombian is an attacking player, is an exciting player, would cost in excess of £10 million should Leeds be in a position to move for him. But we would have to wait and see what happens with the West Ham negotiations. West Ham just signed an attacker a couple of days ago. Whether that changes the situation or not remains to be seen, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But it's an outside one. Moving on to an update on the Joe Rodon situation. Reports over the weekend will have put a bit of a dent in Leeds' chances of getting Joe Rodon back next season. Interest in the centre-back has now been touted from several clubs in the Premier Division. Southampton and Ipswich are both said to have a keen interest in the player. Southampton will look for a move to strengthen the defence after getting promoted. Ipswich had a little luck earlier on in the summer, but apparently they're now more interested, and Kieran McKenna's side are likely to make another move for the player. Both sides have said that they're interested in speaking to the player before he makes any decisions on his future, so you would hope, knowing what happened last season in the Championship, knowing the relationships we had with the Leeds players, and knowing what's going on behind the scenes at Leeds, might be something that gives Leeds a chance to get Joe Rodon back in the Championship, to get Leeds back into the Premier League and hopefully stay there with Leeds. And you might look at Ipswich and Southampton as it might be Premier League for a season, but you could be back in the Championship next year. But you never know. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. It'll be disappointing for Leeds if they can't get Joe Rodon tied down next season. A huge part of last season. I've talked consistently about how much I liked Joe Rodon last year, but we'll have to wait and see. And then moving into our final story of the day, and this one comes from The Athletic. According to The Athletic, Leeds are yet to have received any formal approach from any club around any of Leeds United's players. Crescencio Summerville and Willie Gnonto are the 2 favourite players to leave Leeds United this summer, with Chelsea and Liverpool keen on Summerville and Serie A sides monitoring the situation of Willy Gnonto. According to the Athletic, Leeds have yet to receive a formal approach from any of these clubs, with no bids or declaration of interest being put in to the club at this stage. Leeds are likely looking to sell some players before they move in to fill those gaps with players that they'll likely bring in, hoping that the money they can get in from Summerville and Gnonto will add more to the transfer kitty. The Euros is likely causing some of the delay and will likely cause a delay over the next week or so. With a lot of the players that Leeds will be looking at in and around the fringes of the European sides, and a lot of the teams that are interested in Leeds players looking at other players in the Euros and could have their main scouts at the Euros over the next week and a half or so. So that could be stopping it. Crescencio Summerville's starting price is labelled to be in and around £35 million. As a starting price, Leeds would like 45, but certain journalists have said that's probably too high. And Willy Gnonto is labelled anything between 25 and 30 million. Leeds turned down 25 million last season from Everton for the player, hoping to get 30 for him given the season he had. His stock may have fallen slightly, but Leeds will hope to get a deal for that player that will give them a little bit more money to add to the coffers for the summer transfer window. There's other interest in other players, but there's been nothing formal there. It's a bit surprised. I thought Summerville's move would be quickly. The player himself isn't pushing for a move away from the club. Could possibly stay. It's out there. It's a possibility, but very, very unlikely. We'll have to wait and see. Willy Gnonto, on the other hand, is, I think everyone accepts the fact that the player himself will probably want to go, wants to become part of Luciano Spalletti's Italian side as well and get back to Serie A, where he can be under the nose of the Italian manager and back in his way of thinking. So right now, no outgoings for Leeds, no formal approaches and no incomings as of yet for Leeds. The window's been open since Friday. It's very, very early in the window. Likely not to see any movements until probably closer to the end of the Euros, but we'll wait and see, and we'll keep you updated on anything that comes out. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news, and I will talk to you then. See ya. Bye.